Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. Okay, let's talk about this December the 23rd card from Riyadh. There's a couple of things. I'm going to go into sort of old man mode and have a little bit of a moan. And I know that it's always boring and rather tedious when someone who is older, notice I said older, not old, starts, moaning. But look, I'm so sick of hearing people whining about boxing. First point, there's 2 points I want to make. The first point is I did a video a couple of a few days ago, regarding the pay-per-view. I said, I was reporting it is going to be on, DAZN. I was just mentioning that and asking for your opinions. And a lot of people came back regarding the pay-per-view and said, well, it's not fair because, you didn't mention that, you've got to be a subscriber and I've got to subscribe and then I pay 20 quid. Oh, that means I pay 40 quid for it. Look. You're preaching to the converted here, okay? As I've said many, many times before, I don't buy pay-per-views. I'm a DAZN subscriber and I won't be paying for it. I don't buy pay-per-views because I don't believe, A, in lining the pockets of a fraction of a percent of fighters who are already multimillionaires, all right? B, I'm not giving any money to the bloody Saudis. There'll be a cold day in hell before that happens. And C, I'd rather eat my own bollocks than give a single penny to that fat cheating prick, Jarrell Miller, who shouldn't even be on the bloody card. So that's the first point. You don't have to pay for the damn thing. Stream it. Don't have any shame in streaming it. They're fleecing you, so use modern technology to nick a few quid off them. I've said this all along. I make absolutely no secret of it. I have paid, as I said before, I've paid thousands of pounds over the years, thousands of pounds into grassroots boxing. Going to God knows how many shows at the York Hall or various civic centres all over the bloody country, showgrounds, and that's where I've put my money into grassroots boxing. I have absolutely no moral qualms in taking a few quid out of some multi-millionaire's pocket. Believe me, I don't. These buggers, they probably got offshore accounts anyway. They probably stash their money in the Cayman Islands, or have no conscience about it, because you don't need to. Don't feel guilty. Stream it. I'm a DAZN subscriber. I ain't going to pay for the damn thing. So that's my first point. Anyway, stop whining about the pay-per-view thing. Boycott pay-per-view would be my message. But if you don't, if you say, well, I'll buy that one, but I'm not keen on that one, suck it up, buttercup. You're buying into the concept of pay-per-view, so don't whine about it. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I've never heard people moan so much about a card. Boxing in general, actually. I was going to mention the December the 23rd card, which is what this video is about, but that's just one example. Look, Christmas is coming. On the 23rd of December, 2 days before Christmas, you've got the Riyadh card, and we've already established you don't have to pay for it if you don't want to, all right? On Boxing Day, you've got the Japanese card featuring Naoya Inoue and Marlon Tapales for all the marbles at Super Bantam. And I guarantee that'll be a very good card, because those Japanese cards, they've normally got some good competitive matchups on them, which will be more competitive, I think, than Inoue versus Tapales. But that's another story. The point is, within the space of 4 days, you've got the Riyadh card and you've got the undisputed fight at Super Bantam. Look, what more do you want? Do you know what I mean? Okay, we'd like to see Joshua Wilder, and we're finally getting Usyk versus Fury. But look, let me take you back to when I was a kid. All right, so I'm going to do my old man routine here. What you youngsters don't know, you're born. In my day, 5 of us lived in a shoebox and ate mud for dinner. And I'm not going to quite go that bad, but let me just point out a few home truths. And I'm not having to go at all young people. Don't get me wrong. There are some loads of great young people, and they don't have that whiny attitude. But I want to point out a few things. All right. So humour me for a little while. Okay. Before the advent of the internet, before satellite telly. So I'm going back to the 80s, but I go back to this. I started watching boxing in the late 70s. You had BBC and you had ITV, and that was your lot. I mean, I predate VHS tapes, never mind bloody DVDs, never mind bloody internet. You know, that belonged on Star Trek. That's space age stuff, the internet. We had BBC and we had ITV. And if you wanted to watch the fights, you'd probably catch them on, you know, Grandstand or World of Sport. I can't remember who did what. Was it Grand? It was usually the BBC. It was usually World of Sport, which was Dickie Davis, a guy called Dickie Davis used to present it. And you would get, you know, shows from the Cartel were running. The old Mickey Duff, Jarvis Astaire, Mike Barrett, Terry Lawless, all their fighters. That was your lot. And then Frank Warren came along and busted up the Cartel. So you used to get fights on during the week. You might get them, I think, was it Tuesday or Wednesday? And again, they'd be from, you know, leisure centres or civic centres, or, you know, they'd be from smaller venues. Anything international, they might show the highlights. Or if you wanted to go watch it live, very often, you'd have to go to what was called closed circuit telly, right? Which was usually in a cinema, a satellite, because satellites were so rare then. They'd beam it down, you know, and you'd be in a cinema watching it on the big screen. I watched the first Mike Tyson-Frank Bruno fight on closed circuit telly in Leicester Square. And also, it was the same venue, Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler. And then you had the highlights shown the following day, I think, on ITV, if I remember right. I might not be right about it. I'm going back. When was that fight? 87? Yeah, 87. Now then, with the advent of VHS tapes, you know, and they got popular in the 80s, what you could do is, if you wanted to watch the international stuff, is you go to the back of Boxing Monthly or Boxing News, and you see a little advert, and it would say VHS tapes, stamped addressed envelope for a list of fights, and then some guy would send you like either be printed out or handwritten sometimes, loads and loads of fights. You'd say, right, I'll have a 3-hour VHS tape with this, and this on. You might phone him up, or you might just write to him. Snail mail, of course, there was no email. And he'd put all these fights on a tape for you and send them to you. And of course, I would, as a boxing nut, I would buy these tapes, you know, God, I'd buy the skipful. I mean, because you know, and they were grainy. I mean, I remember ordering an awful lot of the sort of 70s fights between Bazooka Lemon, Bobby Chacon. Was it Bob? Yeah, Bobby Chacon, Bazooka Lemon, Bozer Edwards, all those fights. Because if you know anything about the 70s, there was this round robin of magnificent fights, brilliant fight. Every one of them was great, between 3 or 4 fighters round about the sort of featherweight limit. And they were just fantastic. And they were really grainy. You know, they'd been imported from America, and they'd been like recorded, reproduced several times. But you know, it was something. And you'd get this VHS tape in the post. You put it on. You go, "Ooh, that's fantastic!" Yeah. Now, why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you it because you've never had it so good. If you want to look at the history of boxing, you go to YouTube. It's all there. All this stuff. You don't have to wait 3, 4, 5 weeks for it. It's there for you. If you want to watch modern day boxing, you know, if you want to watch live boxing, which was unheard of when I was a kid, you stream it, or, you know, you want to subscribe to it, like I'm subscribed to DAZN. So any regular shows, I watch them. They're live. I'm watching them as they're happening. Unthinkable back in the day. Unthinkable. And there's so much of it. You know, you can watch. If you want to do an all-nighter, you can start off at 5 p.m. watching, say, I don't know, a DAZN show, Matchroom show, and then at 3 o'clock in the morning, or maybe less, if you want to watch the undercard, you start at 1 in the morning, and it goes till about 6, where you've got a show from America, and you're watching it live, you know, and sometimes it don't cost you a bloody penny if you stream it. So what I am saying is, literally, and I know older people always say this, but you really have never had it so good with boxing. So please, not all of you, most of you are all right, but the ones that stop, will you shut the fuck up and stop whining about things? Do you know what I mean? Like, enjoy it. Enjoy the boxing. Enjoy the card, whether you pay for it or not. Enjoy it. Enjoy, you know, the Tapales Inoue fight. You know, but if you don't enjoy it, like, stop fucking whining. Just stop moaning, please, you know? Because back in the day, I mean, if my old granddad could see, he liked his box, he got me into it. If he could see what's available now, he'd think he died and gone to heaven. Sometimes I do, actually. It's probably why I started this channel, just because I thought, I want to talk about all these fights I'm seeing. I've got no one to speak to, so hell, you know. Yeah, anyway, you know, I had my little rant there, but anyway, maybe some of you are roughly my age, or maybe older, or maybe a bit younger, but you know, you get the vibe I'm coming out with. If you're a younger person, no offence intended, you know, there's lots, like I say, lots of young people, they know the score. They're not all moaning, and of course some older people moan because some people just like to have something to fucking moan about. They're so stupid. But yeah, I just thought I'd get it off my chest. Leave your comments below if you've got any, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button, hit every button you can see, just pop all the buttons, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.